What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Why Wait. I'm Chris, and today I want to talk to you about the tools that I RV with, the essential tools that I feel like every RVer needs to take with them in travel. And because we've been switching RVs so much lately, we've been coming from the Solitude, now we're in the Reflection. Pretty soon we hopefully are going into a Class A, I think. And we've been switching so many things around, and I've been moving tools from one camper to another. We've been putting things in storage, and I've been thinking to myself, what needs to go in storage? What do I definitely need to keep with me? So I thought, let me make a video about RV tools that are just essential, no matter what kind of RV you have. And today I'm gonna bust them out and let you guys know what I keep with me every day and my most used tools. And again, what I just find to be essentials. So let's go do it. Okay, my main handy dandy tool bag right here. It's got most of my stuff in. Some of the basics. Guys, I'm not going to go over like basic hammers and stuff like that. I'll touch over a few basic tools, but let's just jump right into it. I already got a few things sitting out right here. Number one, just a good tape measurer. Guys, you need a tape measure all the time. But one neat little thing about that we do is we'll actually mark the length of our slide outs. And I'm sure you've probably heard this tip before. I've done it for years, and we talk about some of the other videos, but you can put a little marker and just write like a B or K for kitchen or bedroom slide out. Keep it in your truck. When you get to your site, you pull out, you just put this next to your camper, and then you can see if the slide out is going to clear a tree or the electric post or something like that. Next on the list for you new RVers out there who have a Suburban water heater, a 1 1/16 inch socket. Okay, you're gonna need this socket to get the anode rod out of there. I recommend a extended one like this. It can be a little hard to get the socket in there if you have a shorter one. So anybody with a Suburban water heater, when you got to change your anode rod, you're going to need a 1 1/16 inch socket. So carry one of those. And next on the list, real basic thing, but that's just Allen wrenches, okay? You're going to need a lot of these little Allen wrenches. You're going to find a lot of the little screws and things in here you're going to require an Allen wrench for. So I have about 3 different ones of these. I have some single ones. You can never have enough Allen wrenches. And right here, some sort of channel locks or pliers. Just great for all the different water connections and connecting things like that. Now, I will say I don't use these too much as I used to, because now we have the new technology with all the stainless steel quick connects. And I pretty much have those stainless steel quick connects like everywhere. So the only time I really need those is just connecting to the water spigot. And Blue Technology is even coming out with a quick connect that will go right onto the spigot. So you don't even have to screw it on. You can almost just push it on, do like a quarter turn, and you are connected to the water spigot. So keep an eye out for that. It's a pretty neat thing. I don't have it yet. I saw it at their last show in Tampa. I want to get one of those. Next up, putty knives. I recommend plastic putty knives for most people when you're doing work on the RV, when it's time to remove that silicone and do some work. I do keep this metal one when I need to get into a little bit more difficult areas. You just have to be careful if you use a metal one, not to scratch the coach, rig, or whatever. So some sort of putty knife, because you're going to be doing some resealing. And we have other videos where we get into like all the chemicals and sealants and cleaners and lubes and things like that. So we're going to try to stay away from that today. Let's talk about the most important one right here, a good multimeter. And I recently just got this one. And I recently, honestly, just learned how to use it. Now, I've always had a multimeter in the past, a pretty cheap one, and I only really knew how to do like the basic things on like check continuity and things like that. I was always pretty intimidated by these. Didn't really know too much about them. And in some of my older videos, I even talk about, hey, if you want to learn how to use a multimeter, go to a different channel, because I'm not your guy. But I will say, I know everything about these now, and that's because I went down to the National RV Training Academy in Texas. When I went down there, I just learned everything about the multimeter and how this is like the #1 tool to carry. And it's amazing. Like, once you learn how to use this, it's not that difficult. Once you learn a few things, it really empowers you to like understand all the electricity in there and really how to troubleshoot things, because that's going to be the first thing when something goes wrong, is troubleshooting AC and DC and understanding how to use that multimeter, the settings, how to check capacitors, and all kind of things. And if you can't get down to Texas to go to the National RV Training Academy, I definitely recommend checking out the online course. They're going to break down the multimeters there too. there's an online course you guys can check out. You can use code YWAIT. You can save 40% off. They have a thumbnail version, or they just have the basic internet version. Either one you choose, you'll always have access to all the information. So even after you take the class, you can always go back and, you know, rewatch and, you know, refresh your memory on things you've already learned. But that, I would say for me, the biggest thing I took away from those classes was electricity, understanding electricity in these rigs, and understanding how to use a multimeter. So it really is something that you should kind of learn how to use, at least learn the basics, and always travel with in your RV, a must. The last basic tool I'll go over real quick. Yeah, it's a screwdriver, but I thought this one was pretty neat, and this was actually something that the NRVT recommended that you buy to bring down there. It's not just a screwdriver, because you can pop this out right here. It's like an 11-in-1, and then you have each side that can go back in here, and within here you can pop that out, and it has two sides. So you have Phillips, you have different style flatheads, you can pop this out. And what's cool about that, you have that, you can also pop this out, flip it around. Oops, that's supposed to go in there. And then you can take this end out as well, and then you can have your hex head, your star head, your pan heads, your squares, all those little things. And you're gonna want a set of these, because you're gonna find that a lot of things in here require the little square head, that I think it's called the pan head, the little square head, to remove a lot of the screws in there. So to conveniently have something like this, where I can have 11 different heads all on one thing, all right here, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying this. This is a new tool of mine. And we'll put links to all these down below. We'll have Amazon links to everything we talk about today. As always, if you guys want to check out any of these cool items that we have. I think that's about it for the tool bag. Again, we're not going to get into every single wrench and socket and hammer and things like that. So let's go ahead and move into some other tools and a few things that aren't quite tools, but definitely some essentials. They're going to kind of fall into this category. Let's go see if I can find them, because everything's a mess right now. So guys, this is my new temporary basement right here in the Reflection. It's a little cluttered, a little messy. If you know me, I'm usually super organized. I had my Solitude all set up. We're in transition right now, so I'm not putting too much time and effort into this. So just even trying to find some stuff for the past few weeks has been really annoying, because again, I have things everywhere. But we come over here, and actually, while we're sitting here, you know, I wasn't going to get into lubes, but it's sitting right in front of me. Bow Shield T9. Again, stop carrying like RV slide out cleaners and white lithium greases and dry lubes and locks. Guys, if you switch to Bow Shield T9, it's a little bit pricier, but you're going to eliminate like 5 products. This is like an all-in-one rust and corrosion protection and dry lube, which you can virtually use on every part of your RV, and then some. Video links up here. You want to go check out that, you know, more about that product if you don't already know about it. Awesome stuff. Right here, I definitely recommend a good set of, if we can open this. This is a nice little case, 1/2-inch drive, different size sockets. This has been my go-to for messing with hitches and changing out a lot of things, doing my bearings, tires. It's just a convenient little case with some heavy duty sockets in it. I've had this since day one. I use this all the time. And up here, any good impact is something you guys would probably want. This is Ryobi, and I've gone with Ryobi just because I'm not doing anything crazy with it. If I was out there maybe working on the road as my daily job, I'd probably have something like expensive like a Milwaukee. But we have the Ryobi blower, we have the Ryobi trimmer, we have a Ryobi air pump, so I'm just kind of keeping everything Ryobi. But this is good. You're really going to need it if you have to change a tire and you want to get those lug nuts done real quick. That's where a good impact driver is going to come in handy. Everything else in here right now, I mean, again, we got some tapes and wrenches, but nothing too essential. Let's go jump over to my storage bin behind the camper, because I have a bunch of crap thrown in there right now. That's usually organized, and let's go dig through there. I have a few things pulled out here. This is usually storage for cushions. Today, it's tools while we're in limbo. A good torque wrench, a good heavy duty torque wrench is something you should always have on hand. And I've had this one for years now. And again, if you're doing your bearings, if you're changing a tire on the road, when it comes time to torquing those lug nuts back down to spec, you're going to want a heavy duty torque wrench. This one goes up to 250 foot-pounds of torque. So don't skip on the torque wrench. Get you a good one because you want to make sure everything's torqued down properly. Even on travel days, if I've been sitting for a while, I go through with the torque wrench and go back and chuck my lug nuts on my RV tires before we hit the road. Make sure everything's torqued down to spec. You'll be surprised how over time they just sort of loosen up. And which brings us to the next one, and that would be this, a good breaker bar. It's really not recommended, even though you can use the torque wrench to break the lug nuts. You want to get a good breaker bar to do that because you could possibly damage your torque wrench if you start using that to break the lug nuts. So, and I'll put a link to this one down below, but yeah, get you a good breaker bar for that. Don't use the torque wrench. A few more things. This isn't so much a tool. The VI air pump. The bag has seen better days because it is over 6 years old, but the VI air pump is a day one necessity. This is what you're going to be able to air up the big RV tires with at 110 psi. The F450 we had 110 psi. You can't use a regular air pump to do that. So this has an extended hose. It can reach super far. It just hooks right up to your batteries. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen these, but for anybody new out there, the VI air pump, it's a must. And I'm pretty sure that's still going to be good enough for the Class A. I'm not too sure what sort of tires they have on those yet, but we're going to find out. We're going to see if that's good enough to still inflate those big boys. And then if we need to do any work, I just have a nice bottle jack right here, which comes in handy for jacking anything up. This is a 12-ton bottle jack. Now, a lot of times I've used the hydraulic systems to raise up my camper. But if you don't have the hydraulic system, I would recommend using a bottle jack. And this is good to keep in the truck in case you ever need to use it for the truck or RV. So another day one, I think, item that you should probably carry around with you. And then if you have the room, this isn't so much a must, but I have a few jack stands. And really, these have just been for a little bit more peace of mind, a little bit of safety. I'll kind of put these under there if I'm doing some work. One time they came in great handy was when I had to actually replace the coroplast to my underbelly. I got a 2x4. I used those jack stands, and I used that 2x4 to keep the coroplast held up to the underbelly while I worked my way down. And if you're doing that as a one-man job, it just really came in handy. So you find jack stands just kind of come in handy for that kind of stuff. And just real quick, like two more things I want to talk about before we end this video here, because I just saw them and thought about them, and that would be a good level. I do like having a good 3-4 foot level. I actually have 2 of them because I'm not the biggest fan of the auto levels. I use them and then I pretty much go inside and have to adjust it manually anyways. I know you can recalibrate the auto leveling, but they seem to just be off. So I like to have this, put it a few, lay it down in a few spots on the floor both ways and just kind of get it manually leveled myself. I think most of us probably need a level when we're dealing with these fifth wheels and travel trailers. And when we get into the Class A, I've heard that those leveling systems may be a little off as well, and it may just have to still keep doing it manually. And the last thing, lifesaver, Eternabond tape, okay? You may have seen my Eternabond tape modification videos where I've actually take Eternabond tape and I go up and do the entire roof, and I pretty much just said I'm not replacing lap sealant anymore. Took my time, cleaned the roof. You put the stuff down properly, and that'll be the last time you really ever have to get on your roof. You don't need to go up there and check the sealant all the time and redo that. So Eternabond tape is awesome for that. But if you're not into that, just keep it anyways because it's a great fix on the road. If you get a puncture up there, if a skylight breaks, you need to replace it, whatever it may be, Eternabond tape is just the go-to to stop leaks and protect anything on the roof if you have some trouble. So having a roll of Eternabond tape on hand could easily come in handy. I know we had to do 2 roof repairs over my 6 years of RVing, and so Eternabond tape for the win on that one. Hey, as always guys, appreciate you watching. Thanks for checking out the channel, and we'll see you next time.